What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 154 of Park to Prem here with Town or Town. Today it is the Champions League quarter-final against Atletico Madrid. Yes, things are getting serious. I feel like we're getting towards that crunch time in the season, and well, we are still in the FA Cup, we are still in the Champions League, we're still in the Premier League, the treble is on. Will it still be on by the end of today's episode? I guess that's the question we will answer very, very shortly, of course. Atletico, the team we are taking on today, a team who are very, very solid by all accounts. They've got one of the best strikers in the world in Yaray Dominguez. So I'm expecting a tough couple of games over the course of today's episode. There has been 2 games since you were last here, but we're not going to talk about them just yet. We're going to talk all about the under-23s, because since you were last here, Town or Town, everyone, have lifted silverware. Yes, our youth team won the EFL Trophy final against Shrewsbury. Enjoy the highlights, drink them in. I'm going to put a selection of them on screen here, but yes, great to see the next generation of Town players working their trade. I will be honest and say that in real life, I don't really like under-23 teams playing in the EFL Trophy. I feel like it undermines it a little bit. But nevertheless, it counts as some silverware for us. And yeah, it was a cool opportunity, I suppose, to see the next generation of Town or Town players on display. As well as a couple of first-team players who, you know, we've made available for the under-23s. I guess adding a bit of experience, a little bit of quality to the team on the whole. So anyway, I'm not showing you all the highlights there, but it's a little selection of some of the best goals and stuff. Given the fact it finished 5-1, there was quite a lot of those, but I feel like it's just worth running through the team, really, giving you a little bit of a who's who to the heroes of the 2035 EFL Trophy final. So in goal, we have Pierre Charette, who is a product of our academy. You can see here he has improved a lot. 18 years old, generated just last year, showing great signs of development. And yeah, you can see here he's kept 11 clean sheets in 25 non-competitive games, which is not too bad for the 18-year-old. We also have here 16-year-old Fraser Parker. This is a chap we signed from Aston Villa for £13 million in the summer. One of the English players we invested in longer term. He was playing at right back in this game. Our under-23s play our current system. He's a player who I'm very excited about, and you can see, just looking at him, really, really versatile, which I guess is a little bit strange, but he put in a good performance, and he put in a good performance alongside Glenn Gallagher, who is a product of our academy. He's 19 years old now, so he's been around a little bit. He is unfortunately just one of those players who I'm not entirely convinced is going to have the quality, you know, to play in the first team ever. But at 19 years old, he's a very, very solid player. Great to see him involved, a Town or Town lad, born and raised. I actually said Parker was playing right back. He wasn't. He was playing centre back. I tell a lie. Right back was Johan Kvist, who is one of the Danish youngsters we have coming up through our ranks. A player who has amazing current ability. His potential might be a little bit limited. He's a little inconsistent. He is training with the first team, and to be fair, he's got 15 international caps. He is very, very experienced. Out on the left-hand side, it was another Danish player in Christian Eriksen. No, not Christian Eriksen. Christian Andersen, who is clearly overrated by the star ratings. When people tell me, Jack, why do you not pay attention to the star ratings? It's because this guy is not a 3.5-star player in our team. Very, very good player. I see his long-term future as a advanced playmaker. However, he was playing left-back in this game for us, because that is just one position that, for whatever reason, he can play. A defensive midfielder, we had Adam Kerr. He is a player we signed again this year from Leicester, so that investment that we did put into young English players, paying off a little, I suppose, with his silverware. In the midfield, we had Thiago Ulises, who, of course, is one of the players who has made a handful of appearances in the first team this year. A very, very solid player, age 20, probably the best player in our team for this game. He was alongside Bodic, who is a player we signed a few years ago as a bit of a punt from Hull. He's not really developed, but to be fair, he's not a terrible player. But yeah, don't expect to see him in the first team anytime soon. We then have Gethin Collins, who was one of the big investments in the summer. £19 million. That is a lot of money for a 16-year-old, isn't it? You can see here, though, despite his lack of composure and perhaps lack of passing, very, very solid player for his age. Loads of room to develop, loads and loads of potential as well. Great to see him start in this game and play the entire game, where he did quite well. Anyway, up top we had Bobby Baptist, a product of our academy, a player who, like a few of these, product of our academy, probably will end up being a good championship player, but with the calibre of player we're looking for, he's not really going to make a splash. And, well, the player of the match was Lucas Pluck. 19 years old, generated at the club a few years ago now. Terrific player in the air, very good technicals, very good speed. If he could just improve his attacking ability, his composure, his finishing, even his off the ball a little bit, could be a very, very good player. He's a player who has some serious potential as well. I guess he's up against it a little bit when you compare him to some of the 19-year-olds in our first team. But nevertheless, he's one of those players who really, probably is overdue a loan out next year. And if he's playing regular football in the Championship, maybe he can flourish into something really, really special. Anyway, on the bench, Dio came on off the bench, a player we signed, you may remember, in January. He's shown some promising signs. He hasn't played too much in the first team, was signed to be a fifth-choice centre-back. Sami Tanel, another product of our academy. It's actually surprising when you think about it, how many of these players actually generated at the club. Yeah, he generated 4 years ago now. He's played 5 games in the Premier League as a starter this year. Very, very good left-back to be. I think he's only 20, fairly professional personality. I like this guy a lot, and I do like to show a bit of a bias towards players who are a product of our academy. The other player who came on off the bench was Filip Pavlovic, a player who this year has been our fifth-choice striker, with Bubalo going out on loan in January. You can see he's made 1 appearance in the Premier League on off the bench. For the most part, he's been playing for the under-23s. He came on off the bench here. But yeah, very good job by them. I feel like we've done a bit of an excessive run through there, but it's nice to look and appreciate these players that you don't really get to see too much of. Maybe let me know who out of that list stood out to you as maybe one to look out for the future. And well, as I said before already, since you were last here, we have played 2 games. So let's talk about them. The first of these was against Tottenham. It was in the FA Cup quarter-final. Not an easy game, but of course we beat Tottenham last episode 2-0. Wasn't quite as convincing in the FA Cup. We were a goal down all the way until the 57th minute. They scored just before half-time. Steve Norman with his goal for us, a really tidy finish into the bottom corner. We then had a bit of a set piece, and with our rotated team, and this was a rotated team that played, Ulises was there for the header. I think it was a header. It was from the set piece. It was Kaiser with the ball in from the deep areas. A lovely ball forward. Ulises scored. And then in the 84th minute, they score through Pantera. And at that point, we get to the 93rd minute and a highlight starts playing. And I'm thinking, well, this is just the pointless highlight at the end of a game. But of course it wasn't. Volta, just in the right place at the right time. Nice little run. Ball came to him, courtesy of Mateus Aurelio down the right-hand side for us. He bashed it into the back of the net. Absolute scenes. Last minute goal. We are into the semi-finals. And while we've taken down Chelsea, we've now taken down Tottenham. Everton, the team we're going to be playing next, which we should be winning, I feel like, given the opposition we've beaten, but it's not going to be a given by any means. Anyway, the only game we played in the Premier League since you were last here was against West Brom. We won this one 3-1. Really, really good start in this game. Steve Norman getting his second goal in as many games, and right before half-time, Volta grabbed one to make it 2-0, and I was starting to relax. I was starting to enjoy myself before... Well, Morrigan's been given the own goal here, but I think it's very cruel to consider this an own goal. I will describe this as a Football Manager goal. It's just one of those ones where the AI does some weird stuff on the goal line. We've all been there. I don't feel like we can really label any of our players with the blame. That made it a little bit tight. However, in the 75th minute, Jackie Auger reinstated our 2-goal lead, courtesy of a set piece that wasn't fully dealt with. He was lurking just in front of the goal to smash it goalwards. And, well, 3-1 is how it finished at the Hawthorns. So in terms of what that does for the Premier League title race, currently we are top of the league. We can sing it for a little while. However, as you may notice here, Chelsea, 1 point behind us. They've got a game in hand as well, and while they've got some tough games coming up, I was really expecting them to slip up against Liverpool, and while they navigated that game courtesy of a last-minute goal, you can see they've now got Manchester United, Man City and Arsenal on the horizon, as well as Everton on the penultimate day of the season. I believe that this fixture congestion is hopefully going to cause them some issues. They've got a compact schedule, although they have got a midweek game, a midweek break here between these 2 midweek games against Leipzig. They are in the Europa League, so they're going to be playing like we are, fairly frequently. However, with them being in the Europa League, a lot of their games are going to be on Thursdays, so they're going to be playing after us more often than not. All we can really do is continue to set the benchmark high, really challenge them to win each and every game, and that's what we're going to go about trying to do. I feel like when you look at fixture strength, we probably should be winning this game now, this title now. I feel like when we look at our league form, besides Everton, you would back us to get results in the remainder of these games. I mean, when you look at our recent form, we're really not dropping many points, but that is a testament to how good Chelsea have been this year. They were a little bit slow starting, but they have got into gear. and they are more than keeping up with us. You can see here they've won all of their Premier League games since the start of February, and in fact going a little further back. You know, they're unbeaten in the Premier League all the way back to when we beat them back in October. Yeah, they're quite good, that Chelsea team. Since you were last here, we have had our youth intake. It's not been particularly crazy, so don't get too excited. In fact, I'm trying to think of who the pick of the bunch was. Fraser Parker, you weren't part of our youth intake. Who was part of our youth intake? I'll tell you what we should do. We go to the training view here, and then the players with dashes are ones to keep an eye on. So we've got David Wolf here, who is a player who has tremendous pace. Not particularly great in the air. His technicals leave a little bit to be desired. What I will say is he doesn't have a glaringly obvious weakness in his game. You know, there's lots of 7s, 8s and 9s everywhere, but there's none of the attributes that you desperately want that are, well, really, really potato. So hopefully he can develop. I really should set up his training. I'll do that after this episode, sort out all the training. We also had this Swedish goalkeeper that we'd been very excited about joining us. He has a lovely Swedish name of Kevin. Okay, well, ignore his last name of Osterlund Lodin. I feel like there's KOL. There's a nickname here, isn't there? Kostel? I don't know. If you've got an idea for a nickname for Kevin, please let me know it. Good little keeper, though. Loads of potential. His current ability, not entirely great, but besides his first touch and his throwing, you know, he's really not that bad. You know, that there is only 1 or 2 weaknesses in his game. He's a really, really well-rounded player. So we'll keep an eye on him. Maybe he could be a bit of a surprise package. But yeah, as I said, it wasn't exactly the most exciting a bunch. Is Dale Hillaby looks like he could be a good little deep line playmaker option. And the other player, I guess worth noting, is Marcus Fisher, who for me may be the pick of the bunch. He is inconsistent, he is injury prone, 2 pretty big negatives, but his technicals, for a deep line playmaker, he's got 16s in first touch passing and technique. We'll just ignore the rest of his technicals, but the ones that he needs, he has. So maybe he could turn into a super specialised deep line playmaker. I feel like that's his future, that's where he could end up being. I don't know, he's got something about him. Maybe he's the one to be excited about, although the fact he likes to get forward whenever possible and tries tricks probably doesn't lend himself too well to being a deep line playmaker in our system. But anyway, that's a little bit about what's been going on since you were last here, but I know that really you're here for the Champions League quarter-final, so shall we hop into it? In terms of team news for today's game, unfortunately Leskinen is suspended, Matasevic out with an injury, which is going to mean that he misses this leg, and he's very likely to miss the next leg against Atletico, so in his absence, Makassi is going to come in, and Makassi just continues to develop. He's a bit of a freak of nature. As far as Mazzalas go, he's a pretty good plan B, particularly because of the versatility he offers. You know, if we really need to shut things down in a game, we can, you know, switch him to a more defensive role. He can slot in at centre-back if we got particularly crazy. But yeah, for today's game, he's going to be playing at left centre mid. The rest of the team, though, kind of the team you've come to expect. Dylan Turnbull's form has been, well, lacking to say the very least. As a result, Cancina has started to nail down a regular spot as our complete forward. It's worth noting that Cancina is now natural as a striker. Lovely progress to see him making. He's picked up this new position very, very quickly, and he really has excelled at it. You know, 10 goals in not a great deal of opportunities in the Premier League is not bad at all, and in the Champions League, his goal-scoring return has been top tier. So hopefully we're going to see that again from him today. Hopefully him and Shvetsov are going to be able to do the business. We did play at West Brom very recently, obviously, in the Premier League. I did play a semi-rotated team for that game. Unfortunately, Cancina and Shvetsov had very minor injuries for that game, little knocks. The good news is they are back, they are ready and raring to go, and I don't think either of them have any lingering condition effects as a result of that injury. In fact, you can see here, you wouldn't really know that they were out injured just last weekend. So hopefully they're going to be able to avoid any injuries and we're going to be fine. Taking on this Atletico team, they're very good. Holman is one of their star players. I'm a little bit scared of this. Yeah, keep an eye on Holman, Argentine centre mid, a player who I wanted to sign at one point, but I couldn't get a work permit for him because we were in League One and I was trying to sign players that realistically I was never going to be able to get. He is a player who, if we are going to look to spend big on a centre mid, a bit like Justus over at Bayern Munich, if that didn't work out, Holman might be the player I go in for. He is a very, very, very good player. So our big challenge is going to be to shut down the likes of him and Anelka. We showed a few of these players last episode, of course, so hopefully you got a bit of familiarity with them. Anyway, Kaiser, in the absence of Leskinen, whipping it in. The header, on that occasion, narrowly over the crossbar. Given the fact that we are at home here, I'm quite keen to you know, keep a clean sheet if we can. Right now, they've not had a single shot on our goal that bodes well. I have noticed that in the other Champions League quarter-final that's going on tonight, Manchester City are beating Sociedad 3-0 at half-time. So maybe put some Fs in the comments section for Sociedad's hopes and dreams of a Champions League run. Anyway, Nico out here on the left-hand side. We've not really seen a great deal of highlights so far. It's been a bit of a tame game, although we will take that. Sasso Monkowski, we send the centre-back forward for set pieces. We send him forward for these long throws, really, for his heading ability. He's not used his heading ability there, but he's used his ability with the ball at his feet. Not sure how they've let it bounce in the box. We are not going to complain. The North Macedonian, lurking at the back post, tucks it home. A finish that any striker in our team would have been proud of there. Anyway, Atletico on the attack. Maybe I should consider making some subs here. We'll wait and see how this highlight plays out. And, well, Anthony Monzeglio, what a name, headers it in at the near post. Albert Pye with a header in, well, with the cross in as well. I wonder if his shirt number is 3 point something or other. I don't know, pi to decimal places. That is the useless memory that has, or useless information that has escaped my mind in slightly older age. I don't need to know pi. I know you're told that you need to know it at school. There's a button for it on a calculator if I ever need to calculate circle stuff. Anyway, it's not a great first game. I was hoping we were going to pull away with it. Norman's been in some good form as of late. Shvetsov not really been at the races today, so we're going to haul him off. I think the other change I'm going to make is to bring in Volta. Go with a double change here in the 65th minute. We've been the better team. We've really just not created enough golden opportunities. I'm hoping with a few fresher legs in the starting 11 here for going forward, that's going to benefit us. Volta and Norman definitely pacey players, players who can make something happen. And, well, with 5 minutes left, I've made the decision to go more attacking because I do feel like we need another goal here. That may turn out to be a critical error because Atletico with possession here. They have frustrated us. They have not let us have many opportunities. And it's again down this right-hand side. The ball whipped in. It's headed clear. Volta, fresh off the bench. Just run, Volta. Just run. Run like the... I mean, he's passed it. It's probably a good decision. I've got carried away. Norman, fresh off the bench. The pacey Englishman makes a run. Tries to get the ball in. He can't beat the first man. But Nico going to back them into a corner. We want to win the ball up high up the pitch here, and unfortunately for us, they're going to play it out nicely. And now Holman, one of their best players, bringing it forward. The number 7, what an incredible run. Gives it to Monteglio. Berger's there. He hits the outside the woodwork, and it's going to go out. Well, I thought for a goal kick. In fact, it's going to go out because it's offside. We've got one last sub in us. Dylan Turnbull, come on for Cancina. It's probably a little bit late here. 1-1 would not be the worst of results by any means here, but it's been a bit of a weird game. We've had 5 half chances to their 1 clear-cut chance. We've not had that clinical finishing that we're renowned for, unfortunately, today. Anyway, we win the ball here. A lovely block to prevent the cross. Could we break? Dylan Turnbull has just murdered a man. You're off the pitch. Dylan, what was that, mate? Why is it with Town players and red cards? It's one of the worst fouls I've seen in Football Manager this year. He's gone through the back of a man whilst the ball's like at head height. Why did I bring it? How long was he on the pitch for? Sorry, pause the... So it's the 91st minute. When did he... He was on the pitch for a minute. He was... I need to have a moment. Please bear with me. He was on the pitch for a minute. Dylan, you absolute plonker. That means he's not going to be available for the return fixture. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, right. Well, we've got a lot to do in the second leg, as it turns out. We're going to be away from home. I guess the silver lining, if there is one to take, is that we were by far and away the better team. We absolutely dominated them for large spells of that game. They certainly got into it later on. The fact they only scored 1 is okay. You know, if we concede 2 or 3 in the home leg, it becomes a bit more problematic. You can see in the other semi-final, or rather quarter-final going on, Mike Frost grabbing a hat-trick for Man City. It's good to know that it's not just us who he picks on, I suppose. But anyway, we're going to jump forward to the second leg. We have got a game against Newcastle in the meantime, but we should be winning that quite comfortably, even with a rotated team. I will join you guys in 6 days' time. We are going away from home to Atletico Madrid, and there is still plenty to do. So, folks, we are back, and I will be honest, you've caught me in the act of admiring Claudio Holman. What an incredible player. What an incredible Mezzala. He's probably better than Justice, if I'm being honest. I haven't actually checked how much they want. He's valued at 83 million. He has a minimum release clause of 225 million. It's probably going to be in the region of like 105 million pounds for him. 104? 110, I guess, is probably going to be where it's at. I am actually going to bid that, which might seem odd. Oh, he's very good. Is he 110 million pounds good? I mean, as far as Mezzala's advanced play, he can play anywhere down the middle. He's a world-class midfielder. Oh, he does look good, doesn't he? He looks very, very good. Oh, I might have to do this. Obviously, it's not really going to make a difference now, although maybe we can turn his head with a bid just before we're about to play them. Worth noting, he's on £325,000 a week. Now, that is a lot of money. We have a lot of wage budget free. In fact, we have about £700,000 in the wage budget free, as well as the £140 million transfer budget we have. You can see the club balance here. It's in quite a good spot, to be fair. I wonder if we can get that to £1 billion before we end the series. That little way to go, I suppose. £700 million needed still. But yeah, it's tempting to go for Holman, isn't it? It really, really is. Anyway, let me know. Would you sign him? Wouldn't you sign him? Since we're last here, we've beaten Newcastle. You'd think by the fact I'm panicking and looking at Atletico Madrid's star player that we'd lost and I was having a bit of a crisis, but that's really not the case. We beat Newcastle here 2-1. Good little performance. Dylan Turnbull getting a goal, of course. He's not going to be available for this game against Atletico Madrid, but he got one here. Andre missed from the penalty spot, but got the rebound. He is a very, very lucky boy. We've had a bit of an issue with penalties as of late. They got a late consolation with 10 minutes left, but it didn't really change anything. 2-1 winners. Away from home would have looked a bit more of a convincing result, but we played a semi-rotated team. And, well, a win is a win. You can see we currently sit now 4 points ahead of Chelsea. They've not played. Ourselves and Chelsea have won all of our last 5 games. It is looking like it's going to be a 2-horse race and that it's going to come down to who kind of blinks first. Missing out, really. I feel like either team doesn't really look like dropping points at this moment in time. But anyway, we have an Atletico Madrid game to play here, and I'm a little bit scared for this one. I'm a little bit nervous for this one. 1-1, not a great result after the first leg. Turnbull suspended. Matasevic also not really available for selection today. As a result, we are going to shuffle things around in the midfield. Obviously, Turnbull didn't start the last game, so it's not the worst loss in the world, although obviously I would rather have him. It does mean that Pavlovic, who has been our 5th choice striker this year, might get an opportunity off the bench if things went really, really wrong. But in terms of the midfield changes, obviously Matasevic, we'll get there eventually, is out injured, but Leskinen is back from suspension. So as a result, we're going to play him at Mezzala rather than his normal deep line playmaker position, and then play Kevin Kaiser at deep line playmaker because he's pretty blooming good, is Kevin Kaiser, at this point. He's developed so much this year. For the last year, I've expected him to hit a wall where he would stop developing, but that wall has just been broken through at this point. He can't stop improving, bless him. I mean, it's not really a problem for us to have to worry about. He's just incredible. But anyway, the team is the same as the previous one for the most part. Obviously, a few switches here and there. Markowski had a superb performance in the first leg. Another player who's just continued to show development this year. The 21-year-old, if I'm not mistaken, he is now considered in the Media Dream 11 for the Premier League. If we take a peek here, yeah, they've got him at right back for some reason. He was at left back last time I checked. They've moved into right back now. Of course, he can play anywhere along the back, and I mean, what an incredible centre-back he is. Really, really love this guy in our team. I don't view him as a fullback. I feel like with his 12 heading and 15 jumping reach, he's got enough about him to be one of the best defenders with the ball at his feet in the world. But anyway, let's submit the team for today's game. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit excited. I'm a bit of a mix of emotions. I'm half expecting this commentary to go all over the place with so much on the line and the game very firmly in the balance. Of course, 1-1 after the first leg. We have to score today. With that in mind, we are going to start on the more offensive possession-based system. This does not feel like a game where we can afford to sit back. I feel like in that first leg, Atleti definitely got into the game as the fixture went on. However, we did start the better of the two teams. Let's hope that we can, well, show that again here as they have a chance. And Morrigan, what a huge stop that is. A clear-cut chance within the first 3 minutes. And the Spaniard in goal for us. A Spaniard who isn't capped yet, which in my opinion is absolutely criminal. Makes a huge stop there against Atletico, and well, we're going to block the cross and coming in as well. Not ideal to see us having to defend so soon into the game, but I suppose it's a good sign of positivity and a source of positivity that Morgan made a stop there as the ball's whipped in by Leskinen and headed over. I believe it was Soretta. A free header, goal at his mercy. Couldn't find the target, and while we are yet to find the target here, as Atleti have another chance. I think we've already had more highlights in this game than we had in the entirety of the first leg. Morgan holding on to that ball superbly as well. Of course, this is only the quarter-finals. I'm nervous for this. This has been a very hard-fought affair. If we win this, we're not even that close to the finals. We've still got another hurdle to jump over. Anyway, we can't get too carried away. The fact of the matter is that you would say right now we are in a disadvantageous position. We are the team that need to fight back here. And well, Wenzel is bringing the ball forward for them. One of the best left-backs in the world. They knock the ball around nicely here. Atletico got some very, very good players, including the Brazilian Anelka here, surging forward, and, well, that's what he can do. It's his 14th of the year. Morgan, for all his heroics, may feel disappointed to get beaten at the near post there, but to be fair, he bailed us out twice already in this game. They found themselves with a little bit of space over on this left-hand side, as we face it at least. Nico just didn't really do his job there, and I think in that situation, Morgan, whilst he perhaps deserves some of the blame, he's been left so exposed. It's difficult to really entirely, look at him as the problem. The issue for us now is that we have to score. I mean, we had to score before, so I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not changed a lot. Of course, one goal for us here would only be enough for us to take it to extra time if it was to finish 1-1 on the night, just because of the European away goals rule. I am weighing up going to the 4-2-4. I am weighing up going to the 4-2-4 at half-time. I mean, statistically, it's been an incredibly, incredibly even game, but I don't feel like we've created enough. I am very nervous by the amount of our players on bookings. And I am now just sat thinking there is ways to make this work. There are ways that we can shuffle this team around. Steve Norman is left-footed, so playing him out on the right makes a lot of sense. McCassie can come in at centre mid. I think we may even play him as a ball-winning midfielder on support, which is a little bit of a change in roles. But yeah, as far as ball-winning midfielders go on support, he's pretty blooming good at it, minus his aggression. But yeah, I feel like we need a bit more steel in the midfield. But I just feel like we need a bit of a change of approach. Across the first 90 minutes of the last game and the 45 minutes here, they have done a very good job of shutting us out and causing us issues in the wide area. With that in mind, I'm kind of electing here to go with the inverted wingers who will track back. They are set to mark the fullbacks of the opposition team. But yeah, we need a change of approach, and this is a formation that has got us goals in the past, both for England, both for Town or Town at lower league levels. And well, we're going to dust it off once more because we need goals here, and I feel like this could be what we need. Norman, fresh off the bench, so much space in front of him, surging forward with the ball, hits it. I mean, if he scores that, he's a hero. In the end, he's missed it. It probably wasn't the correct decision to shoot, and he looks like a very silly boy. Pai bringing the ball forward. I'm not going to make another joke, although he's giving it to Berger. He gives it to Cherky. And it goes just wide. That was I thought for a second it was going to sneak in. There was a hush about me talking there. The pauses. I will be honest, I was trying to think of a pun to do with Berger's name. I was thinking, is he a Big Mac or is he something else? That's unfortunate. That's what I get for thinking about Berger puns, I suppose. Who kicked the ball out there? We take it short. Soretta has it. We love to play out from the back. He plays it to Kaiser, and it just hits the player on the head and goes through to Yaray Dominguez. I don't know if that was offside. That must have been very, very close, but it's not. Well, we now know that we need to score 2, and it's probably time to roll the dice a little. In terms of what we're going to do to roll the dice, I think I'm going to haul off Andy Eric here. We're going to move Cancina out onto the left. We're going to bring in Volta on the right. We are going to go... Do I want to go to very attacking? I don't think I want to just yet, although we need to go more direct. We need to get the ball forward quicker. Let's get it over the opposition. Let's counter-press as well. We have to, well, push from the front, it feels like at this point. We need to get the ball to our front men quickly. Never time wasting. I don't know, do I want to focus the play down the flanks? I think we probably do. I think we probably do. I mean, we've brought in some fresh legs in the final third. I'm hoping that the pace that we have is now going to work in our favour here. The issue we have is this system works best against teams when they need to come against us and try and get a goal or two. It's one of those kind of misery compiler formations where when opposition teams have got a goal or two, or rather are chasing a goal or two and go more attacking, you can really punish them. That's just not been the case here. Anyway, Markowski gets it clear to Norman. Can we look to break? He's been stuck into the striker position as Norman. Got a goal for us last year in the FA Cup final. We need more heroics from him today. He brings it forward so far, gives it to McCassie. Wide to Mateus Aurelio, who tries to put it in and kicks it against his own player. I mean, if that isn't a fine summary of this game, I don't know what is. I feel like the second goal that we've conceded is pretty unfortunate. We need some heroics. We need a star performance from somewhere because, frankly, we've not turned up. For a second, I thought we were just going to be given a ball and our howler was going to be, well, returned by one for Atleti, but that is not the case here. And while they've got the ball forward, Pai getting it in behind. We're committing men forward. What a tackle by Nico Roth. It's got to be said. The German getting in a toe from behind. I was almost convinced it was going to be a penalty. It wasn't to be. It's now with Berger, who whips the ball in. Free header to Monzeglio. And I feel like we need to go more attacking now. But this does just have that feeling of one of these games where I don't want to say it's gone, but I don't see a way that we get into this game from this position. I feel like we needed a goal a lot sooner. McCassie, can you play centre attacking mid? I'll tell you what, mate, you can now. Go in there and be a body going forward. I'm wondering if there's a way, if there's a shuffling of players here that we can do that makes sense. You know what? There might well be here. There might well be. McCassie, you can play right back, right? No, but you can play. Look at this. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Look, we move Markowski to right back, McCassie and Storetta at the back. It works. Mateus Aurelio, my friend. I don't think you've ever played left attacking mid for us. You're playing it now. This is going to be a bit of a hit and hope formation, unfortunately. But we are at a point in this game where I think we have to not really, concern ourselves with throwing caution to the wind. We've got to get forward. We've got to play attacking. We've got to get the ball to the front men quicker. And while they've got a set piece, it's not the ideal start to committing men forward. And that's probably the game gone now if it wasn't gone already. We've not shown up and we've not created enough. Atletico have pulled our pants down and made us look pretty silly. Yaray Dominguez with his 22nd goal of the season. And I'll tell you what, this Atletico team is very good. Dominguez, we just look at their team. Wenzel at left back, he's pretty good. I can see he wouldn't be a bad signing, would he, at left back? And Nelka out on the right is very good. In fact, their team is incredible. The fact they're third in their division is pretty surprising. We do need 3 goals in the last 7 minutes. We need a bit of a miracle. I'm going to futilely just stick on some instructions, but I think we all know what's coming at this point here. The game is gone, everyone. If you're holding out here, hoping for a late comeback, it's probably not going to happen. I don't want to upset you too much by, exposing you to the harsh realities, but ultimately here we've been outplayed. Statistically, you might look at it and go, that was an even game, but the fact of the matter is we did not create enough opportunities. We did not show up on the night. And Atleti absolutely deserved their win. They were the better team. And that does hurt a little bit. You can see Man City go marching on. I mean, we'll receive £9 million. That's not really much of a consolation. Holman is apparently going to want between £325,000 a week and £425,000 a week. That's a lot of money. Can I convince him to be an important player rather than a star player? No. He wants 350. I can give you do I want to give him 300? Man City are interested. I need to sign him before Man City. Come on, 300, mate. He's on 325 now, so I doubt he's going to want to take a pay cut. Although apparently I'm wrong. 300,000? Is that too much? The mad thing is, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Like, we've got the money to spend. We're massively under our wage budget. It's actually going to go up again. Even if this deal happens, we'll have £400,000 free on the wages. There's probably a few players due a wage rise, but I don't know. I feel like for the quality he offers, it's probably worth spending the big bucks. As I mentioned, once upon a time, I actually looked to sign him when he was playing for San Lorenzo and he didn't get a work permit. I was pretty upset at the time. I mean, the numbers he's been putting in for years are pretty impressive. I feel like he's probably the player to sign. He's probably the player to sign. You guys can let me know what you think. Claudio Holman, it's not a small amount of money, 110 million, and it's not a small wage budget, kind of, I guess, to amount to be eaten up. But I am looking at him thinking, Mezzala on support, you're probably not going to get a better Mezzala in world football. And to be honest, he could even play instead of Andy Eric as an advanced playmaker on attack. There's an argument to be made that he's probably even better there. What an incredible talent he is. I feel like we have to sign him. maybe that's what can win us a Champions League next year. But anyway, that is disappointing. That does mean that we are not going to be able to defend our crown. It means that the treble we were dreaming of is no longer on, although technically we could still win the UEFA Super Cup, the FA Cup and the Premier League, I suppose, for a treble. Not entirely sure that counts for a great deal. Anyway, in terms of when we'll be back, obviously there is this big title race happening now where Chelsea are hot on our heels. They've got a few very tough games coming up, and it's very difficult to know exactly when the title may be wrapped up. I think what we'll end up doing is an end-of-season live com, probably a triple header, Watford, Bournemouth and Everton. I will do it all live, I think, as one long bumper end-of-season video. However, to do that, there probably won't be an episode tomorrow. I have got a video that I'll put up tomorrow instead, though. It will be a simulates. So if you're a fan of those, great. If you're not, don't worry. One day off, we'll be back. But yeah, I feel like to get that triple header done and do it well, just needed an extra day, which hopefully you guys can understand. I don't want to run myself into the ground and burn myself out too much. But yeah, that is what we'll do tomorrow. Or rather, I will record tomorrow for you guys to see the day after tomorrow. It's all very confusing, isn't it, behind the scenes? You don't need to worry about my recording schedule. Let me concern myself with that. But anyway, guys, not the result we wanted today. Not a particularly great episode on multiple fronts, but we will go again. I want another Champions League trophy before we are done with this series. Let's hope that we can tie up a Premier League title to boot next episode. I hope to see you guys in a couple of days' time for that. Thank you for your support on the series. As always, it is me, Jack, and I will see you guys in a few days. I'm out.